Hello, awesome 8th graders, and welcome to week 31 of your 8th grade year. We are getting to the end, and this week we are going to continue to try and comprehend the Holocaust and what happened, and Anne Frank's experience and Gerda Weissman Klein's experience. And we're also going to incorporate some of your own experiences about faith in humanity and whether or not you have it. We will continue to add words to our personal dictionaries, and we're going to launch the Faith in Humanity essay and complete the Faith in Humanity quote charts, which will be the pre-write for your argument essay on Anne's faith in humanity, Gerda's faith in humanity, and your own personal faith in humanity, whether or not you have it. So let's get right into the haiku page for this week. You can see here's Monday, and today we're going to be creating a set of Cornell notes, and you're going to watch this screencast, as you already are, explaining the essay. Make sure you understand by the end of the period, you have to understand what you need to do for this essay, because by Friday you're going to have the pre-write of the essay done. Those quote charts will be done, and next week you'll be writing the essay, rough draft, and do an editing guide and have your final draft in before you head off to Yosemite. So if we look down here under the homework, we have the Faith in Humanity essay prompt. So we're going to click on that, and I already have it open, so I'm going to open it right here. And here is the essay that we're going to be writing. It's about both One Survivor Remembers, the Gerda Weissman Klein movie, and the Anne Frank Diary of a Young Girl book that you've been reading. And so there's a little quote from All But My Life, which reads, "Why? Why did we walk like meek sheep to the slaughterhouse? Why did we not fight back? What had we to lose? Nothing but our lives. Why did we not run away and hide? We might have had a chance to survive. Why did we walk deliberately and obediently into their clutches? I know why. Because we had faith in humanity, because we did not really think that human beings were capable of committing such crimes." And that is something that Gerda Weissman Klein said, and that is the inspiration for this assignment. Also remarkable is that Anne Frank in her diary writes, "In spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart." And so we are going to be looking at these two amazing young women and how they did have faith in humanity even though they were experiencing such atrocities. So here's your essay prompt. Define what faith in humanity means to you. We're going to work in class on a definition. We'll look up what does faith mean, what does humanity mean, put those together, and you're going to write your own definition of faith in humanity. Then you're going to use excerpts from Gerda Weissman Klein's story. You have movie notes. You also have the imagination excerpts and some other handouts. So you can use all of those, as well as Anne Frank's diary, as evidence of how each girl had faith in humanity. This is an argument essay. So you need to be finding evidence to prove your point, which is Gerda had faith in humanity, Anne had faith in humanity, and then you got to give proof. 3 pieces of proof for each. Then the third body paragraph is going to be about you. Do you have faith in humanity? And there is no right or wrong answer on this. You have to decide for yourself. And then you have to support your decision, support your faith in humanity or your lack of faith in humanity, with reasons, at least 3 reasons. So you have to explain why or why not. Give 3 reasons. Finally, and in your conclusion, you're going to describe ways that you might put faith in humanity into action, making the world a better place. And if you don't have faith in humanity, you're still going to write about you don't have faith in humanity, but what can you do about it? What can you do to make this world tolerable to live in for you, even though you don't have that faith? So we just looked at the essay prompt, and I wanted you to think about what's going to go in each paragraph. So in paragraph 1, your introduction, and then what are you going to include? And it's all right here in this prompt. So that definition of what faith in humanity means to you, boom, that can go in your introduction. And then body paragraph, the first body paragraph, which will be paragraph 2, that one's going to be about Gerda Weissman Klein and her faith in humanity and 3 pieces of evidence to prove it. Body paragraph 3 is going to be about Anne and 3 pieces of evidence to prove that Anne had faith in humanity, because she surely did. And then the 4th paragraph, or the 3rd body paragraph, that will be about you. And that paragraph is your chance to say you do have faith in humanity or you do not have faith in humanity, and give me your 3 reasons why. And it really is okay if you can't really land on one side or the other. You have evidence for one and evidence for the other. It is okay if you feel really torn about it to say some days you do and some days you don't, and here's my evidence for when I do and here's my evidence for when I don't. But just make it very clear that that's what you're doing. And lastly, your conclusion. In your conclusion, as you sum up your main points, you will restate your thesis, you'll sum up your main points, and then you will describe ways that you might put faith in humanity into action, making the world a better place. And like I said, if you do not have faith in humanity, then you're going to describe what you can do to make the world more bearable for you to live in, even without your faith in humanity. So there's your body paragraphs. We're going to use a quote gathering chart to help us prepare to write the essay. So the quote gathering chart, we can click on that, and it's all right here for you. So here's your quote gathering chart. The first chart, there are going to be 3 different ones because there's 3 different body paragraphs. So the first one is Anne Frank has faith in humanity. You're going to find 3 quotes, 3 pieces of evidence to prove Anne Frank has faith in humanity. And actually, I think in the lesson plans this week, you're going to do Gerda paragraph first. Then you're going to do the Anne Frank paragraph. Then you're going to do the paragraph about you. So this quote gathering chart is a little out of order, but just go down to page 2 and start with Gerda, and then go to page 1 and do Anne. So on this one, which happens to be about Anne, in the center column, remember you write 3 pieces of evidence, 3 quotes from Anne Frank's diary that show her faith in humanity. If you can find that quote that I used in the prompt about how she believes that people are still really good at heart, use that. You just have to find the page number so that you have your citation. And then there are many other good quotes in there. The ones that pack the most punch, the best ones, are really near the end of the book. And I will give Mrs. Flynn the page numbers of those really best ones, so that if you're not to the very end of the book yet, you can kind of jump ahead and find those quotes if you're having trouble finding quotes. Once you have your 3 quotes listed here, 3 solid pieces of evidence, 3 examples of Anne Frank having faith in humanity, her belief that things are really going to work out, these people who are helping her and how much they're sacrificing, her belief that people are really good at heart, all of these different kinds of examples. Once you have 3 good ones down, then you go to the context and you fill out where and when in the story is this happening. What's going on in the story, in the diary, right at that point that she writes that particular thing. Okay, that's the context. And then commentary, you write 2 sentences where you explain how this quote proves your topic. How does this quote prove that Anne Frank has faith in humanity, that Anne Frank believes in the goodness of human beings, believes in a positive outcome to her situation? And so that's 2 sentences, 2 commentary sentences per quote. So you'll have 6 sentences here altogether. Okay, and then you'll go on. Actually, here's the Gerda Weissman Klein one. This one is actually the first one you're going to do. So 3 quotes from Gerda. You can use the imagination excerpts. You can use examples from the movie. Even if you don't have the direct quote, her exact wording, you can still use those examples and paraphrase the examples of how she was planning a party when she was on the Death March. She was planning a party and she was deciding what she would wear and all of that. That's showing her faith in humanity. It's showing her belief that things are going to work out, that she can focus on the future like that, even though her current situation is so dire. So 3 examples here, and in the Gerda paragraph, remember, they don't all have to be quotes, direct quotes. They can be paraphrased examples. You still need to cite your source, which could be the movie, it could be the imagination excerpts from that page, that handout that you had. Once you have the quotes and the citations, then you do the context, what's happening in the story at the time, and then you do your commentaries, okay? And then the 3rd page, and all 3 of these are due on Friday. You'll have a day in class on each of them. the third page is about you, and do you have faith in humanity? And you're gonna have to decide, and you can just circle right up here. I do have faith in humanity, or I do not have faith in humanity. And then you need to give 3 concrete examples as to why you do or why you do not. And on the Do Now page, I've given you a little T-chart that you're going to make in class for you to collect your examples. So once you have your examples collected, you're going to put them here as your evidence, 3 reasons why you do or why you don't. And then once you have that, then your context will be slightly different. It's, rather than what's happening in the story, it's more like what's happening in the world, or what makes you think of this, or what's the backstory on that particular example. The example that I gave in the T-chart was Homeboy Industries, which is this organization in Los Angeles that helps people who are getting out of prison, and a lot of them are gangbangers and people who are really seriously into drugs and gangs and violence, and they're getting out of prison and they want to get their life back on the line. And this priest goes into the prisons and he meets with these people, it's men and women, before they get out, and he lets them know about their program, about his program, the program, Homeboy Industries, and he talks to them about how if you want to get clean and sober, if you want to get out of the gang and you want to get your life back together and have a relationship with your family and get a job and all of that, you can come to Homeboy Industries. You have to be committed, but we will help you with job training, with tattoo removal, with alcohol and drug counseling and programs, and child care, so you can go to school, you can finish your degree, finish your diploma, and get a job. And they have all kinds of job training and all sorts of programs there that really help people. So that is one piece of evidence that I could cite for the for having faith in humanity, that such a program exists and there are such selfless people in the world that not only have started and run this program, but also that people who have had such a difficult life and have led lives of crime and of violence can turn it around and are turning it around. So that is evidence for me of my faith in humanity. My context for that would be maybe that I saw it on 60 Minutes one night about this program. So that's the context. Where did I hear about it, or how do I know about it? So there's the context. And then my commentary would be, how does that prove it? And so I would explain how does Homeboy Industries prove my faith in humanity? Well, that gives me faith in humanity because when I see people who have had such difficult lives, who have been in gangs, and it's so difficult to get out of gangs, and people who don't have even a high school diploma, who have been through such difficult lives, that there are selfless people out there who are helping them, and also that they can change their lives, that they can have this individual determination to get out of the situation they're in and kind of get on the straight and narrow path and make good things happen for themselves, and that they are doing it every day. So there's some commentary. So that's what you're going to do with 3 different examples of why you do or do not have faith in humanity. So those are your quote charts, and those are due on Friday. So let's go back to the essay prompt. Also on the essay prompt, after the quote gathering chart, I have a sample body paragraph, which we'll actually be using next week once we take our quote charts and we want to turn them into body paragraphs. And we'll be able to, this document right here will show you how to do that. We don't need to go over that right now. And then the last thing is something else we'll be using next week, which is your editing guide. And the editing guide, once you have your essay written, will help you to color code it and identify, yes, this is my topic sentence, these are my transition words, these are my lead-ins, these are my quotes, this is my citation, these are my commentaries. So it helps you prove to yourself and also prove to me that you have all the elements that you need in your essay, so that you know you're going to get a good grade on it, you know you've been thorough, you know you have all the parts you need to have a good body paragraph and a good essay. So these last 2, they're there, but you don't really need them until next week. So we're not actually going to go through those. So there's our prompt. Let's go back to our do now and see if there's anything else that I want to talk about. I guess I just want to remind you, this week we are focusing on the Faith in Humanity essay and the quote gathering chart. You need to continue reading every night. It's about 20 pages.